Hello everybody and welcome to my very first tutorial on YouTube in the Panda Cave. I'm Panda and today I will be showing you how to do a wood grain effect. So what you will need is a tumbler or a glass, a brown coloured alcohol ink. In this tutorial I will be using the Tim Holtz espresso and the ginger, but you can use any brown that you like. You will also need a really shitty old paintbrush. Let's begin. Because I am using a glass for this tutorial, I don't like to epoxy all the way up to the rim, so I'm going to show you a really easy method to get your lines straight when taping off. You want to put your glass upside down or your tumbler upside down. You want to get a roll of tape or electrical tape that is about 2.5 mil in thickness. You also need a black washable or whiteboard marker. All you do is take the cap off, place it on here like this so it's nice and even. Get your glass and spin the glass all the way around. This will give you a really nice even line around the whole top and you'll have no problems. So now we're going to go ahead and tape off. I use painter's tape, but electrical tape works as well. And you just feed your tape around so that this line is just covered by your tape, and use that line as a guide to go the whole way around. Fold it over like that so it makes it easy to find later. And now your cup or your tumbler taped off is ready to go. Now I'm going to go and spray paint this a base white and then we'll be back with the next step. And we are back with our beautiful base spray paint. If you can see, I did have a little bit of drip that happened here. That is okay for me because we're doing a peekaboo, so we can just cover this bit over and use the other side for the decor. If you were only doing one layer, you would want to make sure that this was nice and silky smooth like a baby's bottom, right? No drips, no marks, and you're ready to go. So, I have used a matte white in the Australian export spray paint to do my cups. I also do use the Rust-Oleum paint and primer. So if you are not in Australia and you don't have access to the Aussie import paints, Rust-Oleum paint and prime will do exactly the same job. But they are my two preferred, so we're going to go and get started and do the wood grain. Because I am doing a peekaboo, I am using, for like an engraved wood look, I'm going to put my darker colour on the bottom and I'm going to put my lighter colour over the top just so it looks like worked leather. If you are doing two-toned wood grain or any other method with a peekaboo, if you want to put glitter on the bottom, you can use any brown that you like. One of my most popular ones is doing the brown for the lighter brown underneath and the darker brown over the top. But I am trying something new lately with a new look. It does look like worked leather and you will see that at the end of the tutorial. But this part, we're going to be using espresso. Okay. So this is one of the easier methods. It's not fancy. It has no knots or fancy bits and pieces in it. But you will, like for people who are just starting or people that just want a simple wood grain effect, this is really, really good to do. So you do one line, you get your shitty old paintbrush and you work it. Long even strokes up and down. until you get your wood grain effect. Draw a line, and then we're going to work that up and down. You do want your strokes to go the whole length. If you do little jaggy ones like that, it's not going to be the right effect, right? You do want that really nice up and down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in double speed and finish this cup, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we're back with our wood grain. We have finished our wood grain effect. And as you can see, it's not super fancy, but it does look like wood. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do the bottom now. I do squiggles. And then I'm just going to keep working this back and forth until the ink starts to dry. So you still get that woody look on the bottom as well. The next steps for our glass is I'm going to use a clear spray paint to seal it all in. When you're using brown wood grains, especially with the darker ones, when you spray paint them with the clear spray paint, they might turn green, right? Don't worry about it. 9 times out of 10, unless you put a really thick coat of spray on where it all drips down the cup, 9 times out of 10, once it's dry, it will go back to the original color, but you do still need to spray it before you epoxy it, because epoxy is going to ruin your ink. So make sure you spray. Once you've sprayed, you want to put a nice thin coat of epoxy on, and then if you're finished and you don't want to do any more, you can put clear your decals on and then another finish coat, and you're done, right? I'm going to show you how to do the engraved leather, like the worked leather look. So this is only our first step. We still have one more to go, so I'm going to go away and seal this and put a layer of epoxy on, and then I'll be back with the next step. And we are back again. We've finished doing the seal coat. It's dry and we're now ready to epoxy. The epoxy that I use is EX74. It has a UV inhibitor in it, and I use it for almost all of my tumblers and my food safe work. It is a food safe resin. It is a 1:1 ratio. I've already gone ahead and mixed it, and we are ready to pour. Now I do have a couple of other cups to do after I do this part of the tutorial, which is why I've mixed so much. We are only going to use a tiny bit on this cup today because it only needs a nice thin coat just to seal the wood grain in, and then we can move on to the next steps. I'm going to start by working the resin down the cup. All the way to the base of the glass. And then up. Ensuring I have full coverage the whole way around. Now I'm just going to pour a little bit to rub into the bottom. Make sure that's all sealed in. And it's as simple as that. Now, I'm going to continue to let this spin until it is fully cured, which should take, it is currently 5 p.m. my time, so by tomorrow morning this will be ready to go and we can do the next part. And we're back, and it's got its first coat of epoxy and it's nice and smooth. As I mentioned at the beginning, here is our little drip spot that's a little bit dark. We're going to cover over that. Nobody needs to know that that exists. So we do have our ready. The decor that I have chosen to cut is this fishing one. So we want to peel the decor. Just gonna make sure that it's all pushed down and flat. I just realised I'm missing my little apostrophe. Do I have an apostrophe? Nope. Okay, so we've got so now the next step will to be spray paint over the whole lot, and then we'll be back. Okay guys, we are back. The glass has been spray painted. If you can see, there's our decor sitting under there like that, and she's ready to do the final coat of wood grain. Now I'm not sure if you can see, but my paint went a little bit funny when I did spray paint this time. There are some little cracks in there, but I'm hoping that because they look like a crackle effect almost, I'm going to see what the wood grain looks like, and I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting at the same time. This glass is only for my dad anyway. If it was an order, I'd probably be a little bit more worried, but because it's for my old man, I'm going to try out this happy accident crackle effect, and we're going to Bob Ross our wood grain. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the tutorial, we are using 2 different coloured wood grains for this tutorial. We started off with the espresso, which is what's underneath here now. So we're going to finish off with ginger, and that will give us our nice two-toned effect and make it look like engraved or worked leather or wood. So we're going to do this exactly the same way that we did our first coat. Going to work that in like that. So again, you want to make sure after you do your line of ink, you want those nice even strokes going from top to bottom. To create your lovely wood grain effect. Now, I'm coming up to where the decal has been placed on the cup. When you're doing your peekaboo where your decal or your vinyl is, just make sure you work it in and around the vinyl before you do your strokes. This will just ensure that when you go to lift it for the full peekaboo effect, you do have your ink all worked in there like that. So this is a slightly lighter alcohol ink color. When I go to take the Peekaboo off, because sometimes when you resin spray and resin, you can lose a little bit of pigmentation in your alcohol inks. So after I spray this will go a little bit lighter, like maybe a half step up. What you will see underneath once we lift off our vinyl in a second is the espresso underneath. So please keep in mind, when you see this part of the video when we lift the Peekaboo, if there isn't a hugely dramatic difference, I will finish off with a photo or a quick video of what it looks like after I have spray sealed this, and then it'll go on to get epoxy. But it is, while I'm filming, it is currently Friday, and I want to have this uploaded to you guys by Sunday, so I'm not going to have enough time to do the final coat of epoxy, I don't think, but we shall see. Almost done. Making sure to keep working that brush until the ink starts to dry and stops moving under your brush. See those weird like crack? Well, this way, this crack, isn't that cool? That was a happy accident. I have no idea why it happened or how it happened, but it was a happy accident. Going up and down. Okay, so we've just got our bottom to go. Do a little squiggle, and then we just want to work that ink backwards and forwards until it starts to dry. So that we have our wood panel effect on the bottom as well. Okay, so she is now ready, and we're going to go ahead and peel off the decor and reveal the Peekaboo. Okay guys, so a bit of surprise for you. We are finishing off our Peekaboo with a completely different design and a completely different cup. It has been done exactly the same way. The poor fishing cup that we were using, when I picked it up to grab my holder to record this part, I've dropped it on my concrete floor and I've smashed it into a million pieces. So luckily I had this one on hand because I have been doing a similar tutorial on Facebook this week, so I'm going to have to explain to them why they don't have the same cup anymore either. But we're going to proceed, and we're going to, this one is an Australian flag. So once you put the wood grain on, this will go a little bit lighter after I seal it. So the Peekaboo effect now won't be as obvious. But we will, I'm hoping, have enough of a difference to still show on camera. Going to remove all of my smaller pieces first. Pick up Tasmania. Okay, so can you see how that's now two different shades? Okay. So I'm going to start from over here. Try and make sure that my head doesn't go in frame. Just gonna lift and very carefully peel away map of Australia. Boom. Just working around the star. See some things about permanent vinyl. And that is our worked leather wood grain. So the next steps to happen now, and I'll move that so you can see it. The next steps to happen to this now is I will spray seal this again. This will go a little bit lighter once it's spray sealed, and then I can epoxy. Before I epoxy, I'm going to take my tape off, and then I'm going to move the new layer of tape up just a little bit, just to give it that nice seal rim, and then it will be ready for use. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, see you next time, guys, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye!